Hi, folks, and welcome to Cardboard Care Bears, because why not? All right, so joining me today is Norm from the Board Game Museum. Norm, hello.
Good to see you, brother.
Luke from Down from the Attic.
Hello.
Bernardo from Tabletop Island.
Welcome.
And Ezreal from the RetroGamer from the Dice Tower.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for having me, the rest of the Care Bears.
Yeah, I'm telling you what. Well, so we're going to do a Care Bear countdown of 3 questions that I brought down. One of them, the final one, I messed up, and so half of my hosts got the wrong or studied the wrong answer. And that's my fault completely. But we're going to start off with the first 2 here, and I know who I want to start off with this one. The first one is a classic game that we just do not like, and then why you do not like it. Now, the king of the classic games right now is Norm from the Board Game Museum, folks. He does reviews for every Monopoly game. He does reviews for different types of life games. So he's pretty well studied on these classic games, and he likes the twist. He can tell you his favorite twist on a classic game, but what is just, we're talking bare bones classic game. You're like, no, pass. Norm, what is it for you and why?
I'm going to go with Trivial Pursuit, especially the original one. Main reason, I like question and answer games, but with Trivial Pursuit, it's like you have to have the right type of players and crowd or whatever to successfully play that game. Because so many times, if you're playing the game, you're going to get lost. You may not be able to answer one question. It just really depends. It's kind of like certain versions. You have to be able to qualify in Jeopardy to be able to even answer any of the questions because they're so detailed. We're so, in 1932, such and such a person from France did something and something or whatever. There's a lot of versions of Trivial Pursuit out there. The times that I have played it, I might get lucky if I could even answer one question. And you might have a genius on one side that knows every answer. I think there's a time we actually played once where it was one person versus everybody, and he still won. So I would go with that one. It's not really a game I would pick to play at all.
I'm the guy who could play the entire game and not get a question right on the original Trivial Pursuit. I remember the only time I ever won that game, true story, I was teamed up with a girl who was super smart, and she got every question except for sports, and I answered the sports question right, and we won.
The only thing I like about Trivial Pursuits is the play pieces. I like the little pieces of cheese. They're quite nice. Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah. It's very fulfilling to put those pie pieces in there. I never got that feeling, but I saw other people's pie pieces getting filled up when I was playing it as a kid. I was like, man, must feel good.
Whenever I want to feel like a dummy, I'll just play Trivial Pursuit because I'm in the same boat. I can't even get not one question right.
I know. And the thing is, that game, before it started getting its facelift editions, the original game was so outdated, meaning some of the trivia was so old. You're like, oh my gosh, who would know this anymore? Because they reprinted that. They kept the same printing of that theme forever, it felt like, before finally giving it an upgrade. So, all right. So we'll go with Luke now. Luke, classic game.
This one I didn't have to think very long and hard about this at all. Monopoly. I hate Monopoly. Monopoly is brilliant for one person playing, and for the rest of them, it's complete misery. Like, as soon as the balance of those scales start tipping in one person's favor, that's it. The game's done. They're going to win because they own all the properties, and they're just going to nuke your cash out of existence. The potential for cheating with the banker, and the fact that other people will gleefully rub your face in it. Like, I play with my dad, I play with my family, and my dad is always the swine who has all the money, all the properties in front of him, and he's like, "Go on, make your move." That's mine. And 2 hotels, right? That's £500, please. It has ended with the board being flipped a few times, not just by myself, but by my brother, by my mum. I've had enough of this. Said, no, you've been an arsehole doing this. We're done with this game. And it's sad because it's one of the few games where you out of the box, you could probably play with about 8 to 10 people. And I have never found 8 to 10 people willing to sit down and waste 4 hours playing Monopoly. I just can't stand it.
You sound just like my dad. My dad would play Monopoly with us. That was one of the games we played as kids all the time. Dad wanted to play Monopoly, but Dad was in control of the bank, and Dad would not make a trade with you unless he got the best end of the deal. You could have all the low cards. He had to have he didn't need the highest cards. He didn't want Boardwalk and Park Place. He wanted the sweet spots, the little in between the corners there. And he'd have the same strategy and build hotels. And we had to keep playing until we gave him all of our money. And he won dominantly every time. And it was just like, because he would not make a trade with us when we wanted to get a trade. No, that's ridiculous. You've got to make a trade. You've got to make a trade or the game's not going to end. That's another thing. You don't make a trade, the game can go on forever. No one has a monopoly. Because that's what we would do. We would stop and Dad goes, okay, we're not going to play anymore if you aren't going to make trades.
If you need like one more card to complete a set so you can start building on those colors and the other person's got it, they'll make it hell for you to get that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need one more of the other ones. Oh sure. Just trade me those 3 stations and it's yours. No.
That's funny. Well, I'm sure Norm can tell you a few updated Monopoly games that would be fun.
Luke, I'll show you what I got. I don't even have an original Monopoly game because I'm with you. I mean, God help the first player that gets eliminated. What's he going to do for the next 3 hours? Here's some of the ones I've got. I mean, this is a really good one, I think. This is a cool one. Versions and stuff like that, but I'm with you. I don't even have the original Monopoly because it's just it's misery sometimes to play.
I think, in my opinion, I think Tropical Tycoon is probably the best version of Monopoly.
Yeah, I like that version a lot. It's very cool. They added a lot to that one.
Yeah,
and you don't have to. It ends, I think, when one player goes bankrupt. I think, or you can actually set a time limit too, so you don't have to torture yourself.
That's nice. Of course, you can just take a gun and end the misery that way too, I guess, when you're playing Monopoly. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
Okay, so after I talked about how it was my childhood favorite game to play on the last episode, Luke just comes in and just bashes it. So that's nice to know. All right, so Bernardo. What is your classic game that you just can't stand?
So I to avoid repeating with Monopoly, I thought hard on this one, and I would have to say Sorry. While I did play this quite a lot as a child, this is one of the most frustrating games I've ever played in my life. That Sorry card is absolutely broken. So you can be on the verge of winning, and that one Sorry card not only switches places with you, but sends you back to start. And while you think you use that card strategically, guess what? You don't have a choice when you draw it, 1. And then 2, you fall into the issue where the person that you last used the Sorry card just wants to get back at you, even if you're not the one winning. And that game gets absolutely frustrating. I've never played a game where someone didn't get it 2 to 3 times back to back and hit me with it. And I was just like, well, this is just not even fun anymore because this card's insanity. But yeah, definitely Sorry.
That you literally move around the board. That's all you do. You're just supposed to move around the board.
Yeah, and then one card changes it all.
And you can be this close, and it's all gone.
Or worse,
sorry. No, you're not sorry.
They go move 1 and then back 5, and it's like they're already set up to win. I was like, wow, that's just insane. All right, I guess that's how that game goes. I hate that so much.
There's a version of it. I don't own a copy of the game. But there's a version of it I thought was fun. I wouldn't want it, but it's Sorry Splash Mountain, where the pieces are like the little logs from Splash Mountain, and you're bumping into people riding around Splash Mountain. It's Sorry, but Splash Mountain type. I was like, that's kind of fun, but still, I wouldn't get that.
No, Sliders is really fun. I have Spin too, but I haven't played it. But Sliders is a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Sliders.
Mm-hmm.
It's like miniature shuffleboard.
Exactly.
All right, Retro Gamer. What is a classic game that you just can't stand and why?
So I also thought long and hard, and obviously Monopoly came into mind, but I said let me try diving a little bit deeper. So the game that I couldn't stand playing was Stratego, and just for the simple fact that once somebody starts eliminating your big pieces, it's almost nearly impossible. You already know who's going to win the game. There's no coming back from when your big pieces start getting eliminated. That's just the sheer fact for me that, never have I ever won once that started happening. When Avalon Hill kind of had the rights for it, later on, they came out with a Stratego game. God, I forgot what it's called now. Stratego Legends, I believe. It was actually a collectible game where you actually brought your own army with you, and each one had their own special ability. It kind of balanced the game out a little bit. I really liked that version, but they came out with the base set, and then they said, okay, well, we're going to be coming out with like booster packs of more armies, and that just never happened.
They dashed your hopes.
Yeah. So the game for me is Stratego that I can't stand too much.
Fun fact. Oh, go ahead.
No, good. I've never played.
I was going to say, fun fact. I've never played Stratego, the base version.
Really?
Never played. That's one of the classic games I've never played.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Stratego Narnia Retro Gamer? The Narnia version of it?
The Stratego what?
Narnia, the Narnia version.
The one that's based on the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I've never played it before.
They gave the different character special abilities, so it changes up the game some. But if you start losing your big pieces, you're really you have to basically find the flag, before you get killed off. That's basically it.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, this is neat. We've all had a different one. Because no one picked mine. And mine, I absolutely despise. It is the game of Clue. I hate that game. Roll, move. The squares are so tiny. It takes you forever to get across the hallway to another place. Hey, you know what? Your whole turn could be just rolling ones and twos. It can take you 4 hours to get from the kitchen to the bedroom because I guess your guy just decided to just stop and smell the roses across the way. It's awful. And using the shortcuts, that's nice to go from one corner to the next, but I don't need to go to that corner. I need to go over here in the center, over here to the left. And it's got if you get a 6, you feel like you won a mini victory because your guy gets to move a little bit more. But why did they make so many spaces in between all of these things? So anyway, once you get there, then you have to do your guessing, right? And you have to see and you don't want to give too much away because sometimes you want to get sneaky, name some cards that you already have, get people thinking, oh, well then, no one has Colonel Mustard, so it must be Colonel Mustard. No, it's not Colonel. I have Colonel Mustard. I'm just punking all you people. I mean, there's that strategy there, but at the same time is if you mark something wrong on that little board, and you will, then you'll be like, okay, here's who it is. You're like, wait, what? And you look back at your pen, you're like, what happened? And there's a mark over here, and it wasn't marked out. It was just an X from the top tier one that you marked accidentally, and now you just lost because of a logging error on here. But it takes forever. I hate that game. The last time we played it was years ago. Someone brought it over. I said, well, I want to play Clue. I was like, ooh. So we played Clue. I went straight for the envelope. Because if you guess, and then you're out. And I was going to guess immediately. So my turn was go straight for the envelope, guess, and get out, and then go do something else while they play Clue. That's what I say. Okay, and I went. I said, Professor Plum, lead pipe in the, wherever, living room, a dining room. Open it up, and I was right.
Wow.
And everyone looked at me, and they went, how did you? I said, to be honest, I didn't want to play the game. I just made a guess. They went, I said, so now we can play something else since I won? But you look at it, and if you lost, you tuck it back in. But I was like, shut up, and I threw the cards down. I went, I wanted to lose this game. It was the quickest game of Clue there's ever been. But after that, we never played it again. Haven't played it since, because they know that that's what I'm going to do. If ever they bring out that game, I'm going to go to the center, make a guess, and if I'm wrong, I'm going to go do something else. Cannot stand that. Now I hear the museum caper is good.
Yeah,
and
the one I want.
Yeah, there's different versions that are better. And here's the deal. I saw Norm, who reviewed Museum Caper? Norm, did you review it?
I did, yeah. Yeah, that's way different than the original Clue.
It is. And I saw it and it looked good, but I was like, it's Clue.
Yeah, it says Clue.
That's how much I hate Clue, because I have a knee-jerk reaction to anything named Clue. I'm like,
it's just based on in the world of Clue, basically.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with. The only time I actually stopped and looked at a Clue box was the Golden Girls Clue, who ate the last piece of cheesecake. And I was like, this has got to be a joke box. No, there's pieces in here. This is a real board game. But the first time I saw that game, I was like, that can't be real. My wife's like, oh, can we get it? I was like, absolutely not. Unless they have a miniature B. Arthur figure I can walk around the board on, which I would just take that figure and chuck the box. But yeah, a horrible game. All right, so next up, an upgrade that you gave to one of your board games. This is something we actually talked about on the last stream, but it was after the show was over, and I started thinking, this would be a great question. Did you bling out your board game with an extra piece, an upgraded bits or something? And I believe all of us have done this from time to time. I could be wrong here, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with Bernardo. I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell us. Yeah. What is it?
So it was kind of a toss-up. The one I was initially going to do, I couldn't show, so I decided not to. But I end up using, for Crocodile Hunter, I use the quicksand dice for it instead of drawing the cards. Because the movement's the same as the cards. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you have the alligator piece. So instead of drawing the card that kind of you push down on the alligator, if you roll the alligator, it moves it. To be honest with you, I actually feel like I roll this, or I've seen this getting rolled more than anything. So it's not one of those things where, wow, I didn't see enough of it. I haven't run into that issue. I could probably see that issue being there, but I mean, there's two sides to the alligator, so it's not like it's just on one. So the probability is pretty decent. I very much enjoy it because I don't like having just the cards. I don't know. I'm tired of like drawing cards and moving. I'll leave that to the games like Tornado Rex, but this is definitely it. But I guess for curiosity, the other one was just swapping out 3D glasses for the Vampire Hunter, because if you make red lenses, you can see the red side of the board, and then switch the blue to go to night. I think that's one of the sickest ways to play.
Yeah, can you show that die again? You were frozen the first time.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
That's fine. There it is. There's the die from Quicksand. That's really awesome. And I know when because these are the two that you talked about afterwards, and I think Luke was pretty impressed with the whole 3D glasses concept for Vampire Hunter.
No,
it's a neat idea, and it allows you to play it in daytime as well. Yeah.
I think I'm going to try that for my Vampire Hunter. So just red and blue.
Yeah, if you get the 3D glasses, all you do is swap out the lenses, the red and blue lenses, so they're all one blue, all one red. It works really well.
I'm going to try that out.
Yeah, that's really neat. That's really ingenious when you think about it, because that's what it was built off of. That invention. So that's really cool idea that you thought about that. All right, so it's like the king of the upgraded bits there. Okay, RetroGamer. What's the game that we have upgraded before?
I have upgraded Micronauts, the board game. The board game is big enough where you can actually use the Micronaut figure if you had them. And it actually, the board game actually came with a stand where you can put the Micronaut figure on the stand that it comes with, and you just move around the board with the figure. And they made another one, a G.I. Joe game like that also, where you can actually use the G.I. Joe action figure if you wanted to. But yeah, that's the as bad as far as blingy as I got was just using my Micronauts figures on that game.
Using
want
the
that
actual toys.
They actually recommend that you do that. They said, you know,
Oh.
if you have the Micronauts figures, the board is big enough where they can actually move through the doorways and stuff.
That's smart.
Yeah, like Micronauts, they were, I think, the precursor to Transformers. They had like giant mechs that, almost like the Zoids from Power Rangers, where like multiple robots would form like, you know, like a Voltron sort of robot, and they came with these little figures, and from there, like the robots transformed into one thing that sort of brought on the Transformers line. So Micronauts, yeah, really cool figures.
Yeah.
It's a good game too. I like the game a lot.
There you go. All right. I never had Micronauts as a kid, so I was just that we didn't get in. That was one of the few toys we didn't have.
Just Go
All
Bots.
right. So what?
I said just Go Bots.
Just GoBots. So we did have GoBots. I remember we had GoBots.
The poor man's Transformer.
The poor man. Poor man.
They
We
just
had.
sit
I
down.
loved- I hated that they weren't to scale with the regular, you know, like Leader 1 from GoBots was very small. He's like Bumblebee size, and you couldn't mix them together very well because you could tell what a GoBot was. A GoBot was a cheap looking edition, a cheap version. That's the what's the Walmart brand of stuff called? General
Equate-
Mills. What's it? Great Value. It's the
Oh.
Great Value version of a Transformer.
Some of those to transform, all you do is just like lay them down. It's like, oh, it's a car now.
It's a sticker.
Now hold on. You got to push in their arms that were the doors. You
Oh, yeah, the
remember the thing
advanced
I
one.
opened his arm? They're like Happy Meal toys. Die-cast metal Happy Meal toys is all they were. But anyway, so I have a few. I want to name the one that we talked about last week was Fireball Island has these gems. Norm, what game did you say those gems came from?
Dragon Master.
Dragon Master. I didn't know that. I just saw them for sale for like 99 cents. It's like, done. Those are the gems that go with Fireball Island. And so you have it. Hold on.
Yeah, that's the game right here.
So yeah, those use the same gems from Fireball Island. So I got one of each color, and we play with them where the gems, when you get them, they give you different abilities, and we just shake them up and then drop one on the board. That's what we did when we played old school Fireball Island. Which ever since the Restoration Games version came out, we have not played the old game anymore.
Indulgence.
Yeah, I'm telling you. The other one that I upgraded was TV Wars. TV Wars is kind of a older version of the networks today. Today we have the networks game where you're running a TV station. Here you're running a TV station too, but it's a lot more brutal. There's elimination, and this game can go for hours too. So if you get eliminated early, you have nothing to do. But the pawns in that were so weak and chitsy plastic. I was like, ugh. So I bought the satellite pieces from Power Barons, is it?
Yeah.
The big satellite piece. And I bought all 4 of those because it was 99 cents to get those. So I was like, oh, I'll get those little pieces there. And then put those on the board so they look like little TV satellites. And that's what you're moving around the board. Because I enjoy TV Wars. I enjoy the list of shows on TV Wars and the way it plays. It's kind of fun. It has that player elimination, so it's not the perfect game. But I wanted to have it just upgraded a little bit, so I put those little palm pieces in there to make it look a little bit nicer. And I think I even showcased them in my review, and I had to make sure to tell everyone, hey, these aren't the pieces you use. These are pieces I'm using for my review because it makes the game look better. But that was my 2. I haven't blinged out that many vintage board games. When I thought about it, I was like, well, those are the only 2 that I know for sure I've done. All right, Norm, you're up.
Well, I have not done this yet, and I want to. I'm going to go with the Crossfire game, the Milton Bradley version or the big one. Usually you just have a couple of pucks that have these ball bearings in the roll, and both players are shooting different marble pellets at it, trying to get into the other person's goal. But I like to try something like maybe Green Army Man or Logos or just put a whole bunch of different things on the board. And anytime you get one of the pieces into your opponent's goal, you score. But they have the 2 pucks. But I haven't tried this yet, but it'd be kind of cool maybe to have 15 pieces or something like that on the board, and you can just try to shoot as many of them in there as you can, because it's a fast and furious game as it is.
That's interesting. Yeah, that was an interesting reprint to come out, out, because it's like that's of all the games they could have reprinted. I mean, I like Crossfire back in the day. We all wanted Crossfire, but the little pellets kept getting stuck in the gun.
Yeah, you have to shake the gun a little. And interestingly, they screwed up the reprint because the pucks, the ball bearings don't roll in them. So, like when we got it, we returned it, but you couldn't move the puck at all when you're shooting it. It's just basically sitting there, So, not fun.
Wah, wah, wah. All right. Luke, what is a game that you have upgraded?
It's only a very small modification, but it makes a big difference. It's with Escape from Atlantis. So in the game, you are trying to get your people off the island of Atlantis whilst it's sinking, and to one of the 4 islands around the corners of the board. So turn by turn, you take a piece of land. You can move 3 people, and then you roll a custom dice, which allows you to move monsters or dolphins. Now, on that dice, there are 2 dolphins, and the dolphins, if they're next to a person in the ocean, they protect that person from the monsters. It's effectively like a shield. What I've done with my die, I've simply put a sticker on it and on one of the dolphins, and it means boat, because there are boats in this game with 3. You can get 3 people in, and this gives you the option then of moving one of those boats, and you can have a boat full of enemy like opponent pieces, sail right into a kraken, and they all die. It's fantastic. Like, it's such a simple little thing, but I also thought, like, with the dolphins being shields, they were coming up too much, and they were protecting people too much. And it kind of negates that as well. So it adds a little bit more to the sort of ruthlessness and destruction, and it also takes away that protecting your pieces element just ever so slightly, and it works really well. The other one that I haven't done yet, but I will be doing, and it's purely to make the game more appealing to my friends, is Mall Madness. So I think I spoke about this after last week's podcast. I'm getting the sort of third-party, legally distinct Bill and Ted figures for Mall Madness. So, I'll have like a Socrates, I'll have a Dave Beef Oven, Bill and Ted, Joan of Arc, Genghis Khan. Like in the film, they'll be running around the mall. Because on the offset, it looks like a really girly game, and I'll bring that thing out. And as awesome as that game is, my friends will go, "I'm not playing that for girls," No, it's got Bill and Ted in it. Oh, all right, okay then.
Yeah, that works well with the theme, because in the first Bill and Ted, they were at the mall.
Exactly.
Yeah. I thought about that for an expansion. Call it Mall Madness 2. Instead of finding items at the mall, you're just trying to find other people.
It's not going to work in 2020, though.
Yeah, I'm telling you what. True story. Online, there's a game I love called Zombies. People have bought copies of just the board for Mall Madness, and they'll play the game Zombies in the mall on the spaces at Mall Madness.
Oh, that's cool. That's Dawn of the Dead.
So it's kind of like Dawn of the Dead. You're just fighting and the rules are the same. They change up the rules for some of the stores, but they have it all written out to where you use your Mall Madness, setup, and you go in there and you're trying to clear out the mall of zombies without dying. It's like, that is awesome.
The zombies start running towards the sale.
Zombies are going to be on my Fireball Island game. Zombies are going to be on they're going to be fighting the Omega virus. Thinking, I'm them everywhere. They're going to be inside of McDonald's. I'm kidding. Anyway, so next up is the question that I screwed up and told some of you the wrong question about. But the original question was always meant to be, what board game expansion to a vintage game do you wish existed? So an expansion to an already existing vintage board game, what would you like it to be about? Now, very near and dear to my heart is one called the McDonald's game that I had talked about. You could do tons of expansions for. Norm actually went to work and printed some of these out and kind of did like a short review on them. And it's just brilliant. I think McDonald's should call us and let us do that board game for them. I think we need to find someone in charge of McDonald's. Say, hey, we're going to pitch you this board game. It's going to make you tons of money here. So say what?
I said I'll send them a tweet for you guys.
There you go. These guys have an amazing idea to upgrade your board game, but that's just dying for an expansion. But then I thought, no, I'll do something different. I'll give another expansion I had, and I have never revealed this before, but I came up with an idea. Now, this is maybe something that Restoration Games can move with, or maybe they are. I don't know. But it's a part 2 to Omega Virus. Omega Virus. It's I don't know what you would title this one, but after the crisis, getting the Omega Virus out. Okay, remember, as the game's going on, the boards, the leaves are closing. They're closing. The sections are closing. Okay, well, your space station is in bad shape after the Omega Virus was defeated. Well, guess what? There's an asteroid coming, and it's going to in direct line of contact with the space station. So now you got to get the space station up and running again. You got rid of the virus, but now you got to find activation code to open back up the leaf. So you're playing on top of the board now instead of the bottom. You're playing on the top now. You have to, draw a map out there, and you're trying to go around to find the exact activating code. Everyone has their own personal activating code, and you get certain numbers on certain places you go. Of course, you need different tools this time. And then once you punch in the activation code, everything will activate. Will it activate in time to move before that meteor comes? I don't know. You're going to have to find out. It's part 2 to the Omega Virus. More
good
of
idea.
But there's a few other things too, because you can move out into space and move. You can move a lot faster because you can move your weightless and gravity. However, there is a risk of being lost in space if you maybe roll something wrong. I don't know. Like I said, I thought about it for a while, but it's a risk. Are you willing to take the big super shortcut and go around the board and one move, or could you be lost out into space and fall away? I don't know. There's cards you would play too in this version, cards that would help you or screw your opponent as well. So Omega Virus, repairing the damage or whatever, the aftermath. All right, so that's my idea. Norm, board game expansion. What do you got?
I know that they did a reprint of this game under a different theme, but I would like to see them do this one, Star Wars Epic Duels. I like to see them do some more of the characters from the last 3 films. Maybe do some more of the background discs that you can play on. It's a very cool game. If you've never played it, this is one that you pick a character and they're miniatures, and they have special abilities, special cards that you play. And you're basically trying to kill off a pair of your opponents that are teamed up. I like to see them, like I said, do more characters, maybe even do some ships, just do some more boards. But I know that that's probably never going to happen just simply because it's Star Wars. But that would be something I'd like to do.
I don't know.
Yeah, Unmatched is the Restoration Games version. It's wildly popular.
It is a really good game.
Very good.
They fixed a lot of the problems with Epic Duels.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Great.
And I agree with you. I thought about putting Epic Duels up there, but the only thing I'd be interested in is the Episode 3 characters being put in there, Revenge of the Sith characters, and that'd be it for me. I mean, I like some extra, so more of the same, like an expansion pack for that would be amazing. Would be amazing, because it is that one. Epic Duels is just a fun game, but I do hear a ton of good things about Unmatched. Unmatched is wildly popular.
100%. I hope they do a Star Wars theme. I feel like that's more of it's an expensive license, so you want to make sure the game does well before you start trying to dive into something like that. I don't feel like it's out of the realm of possibility. I think it probably in consideration, but
Was that the case? Was that because they thought that it's too expensive to get the Star Wars license?
I don't know. What I do know is that the first few characters they've used were kind of open license characters. So that was kind of my logic behind it. It didn't really cost.
We might have someone on the stream who can answer that question.
Yeah, the reason why they didn't go with the Star Wars theme was, one, because it was obviously too expensive. They didn't know how the game was going to go, and I think Rob just wanted to make some distance from the original game also.
Yeah, no, and it expands it because you're not just caught up in just one franchise. You're not just limited to one franchise. Now you've got, I mean, for crying out loud.
They got Jurassic Park just came out. On the horizon, we got Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And there's some other things that I can't talk about.
What? Wow. Okay, so this is kind of being a.
It's growing. It's getting bigger. They're not putting that one away. They're developing new stuff. Yeah.
That's one you can keep doing expansions as long as you get the IPs for, and that's a smart. Buffy's a smart one because it's something that a lot of people still remember, but it's probably a cheap IP though because it's not in the presence of everyone's mind because there are no TV shows or movies being put out. But that's the thing. But you don't have to have a TV series and movie put out. People still remember and love those old games and stuff. So there's more. Look at that. Look at that tease we got.
There's more on the horizon.
Maybe that's our next question for next week. Which expansion do we want for Unmatched?
We actually at Gen Con last year, we had a little survey on who would you like to see in Unmatched, and some guy actually wrote that he wanted Keanu Reeves in there. He wanted John Wick, he wanted Bill or Ted, and whatever other characters he played. He played Johnny Utah from Point Break.
Matrix Neo.
Matrix Neo. Yeah, I thought that was a fantastic idea.
Dude, if there is a Keanu Reeves expansion pack, I'm all in. I will buy the all-in package because John Wick, and by the way, John Wick should be the most overpowered character in the entire game and be able to kill anyone with any roll dice because I would absolutely the Keanu Reeves expansion pack is probably the smartest idea. I would buy that in a heartbeat. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. He was Constantine.
Tons of characters that he's played.
That's a great one. That's a great one. I love that. I know Bernardo only has 500,000 ideas for Unmatched of people and things he wants in there. But you think about the most randomest one that you would want in there, and that's the beauty of the game, right? You get to have fun on, Bruce Lee fighting,
Oh, it's so good.
I mean, come on, you gotta love that. So, oh man, well now you got me thinking. Now that I have Buffy and everything, I'm gonna have to give that game a second look. I was like, well, I got Epic Duels, and I was like, but I know they've expanded because I did think it was funny they had Jurassic Park in there. I was like, that's funny. I did applaud when I saw that. I said, okay, I see what type of game this is. A fun one. All right. Anyway, Luke, have I given you enough ample time to come up with a board game expansion?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, go for it.
So I had been thinking along the same lines as you with a megavirus, in that they could have sold back in the 90s a new electrical component to land in the middle of the board that gives you completely different missions. So you could have a mode called Rogue Robots, and the robots, the drone pieces in the space station have gone rogue. And rather than tackling one virus, you are tackling 4. But you might need less weapons or less equipment. But the other thing I was thinking about was 13 Dead End Drive. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if you had like an expansion that clipped onto the board with additional traps, but also with an additional sort of way of winning? So the whole idea with Dead End Drive is you are trying to be the last person standing to get the inheritance, the will. And I'm thinking if there was an expansion called, I don't know, like the West Wing or something like that of the manor, there might be like a secret safe in there. And whoever has the code, it keeps changing. So you're constantly trying to throw that person under the bus or, crush them with a chandelier or chuck them down the stairs. And then another person gets the code for the safe. And if you can make it to the safe before anybody else, you also get like you also win by that way. So there'd be like an additional way of winning that game, but there'd also be additional traps. I really love in Dead End Drive. I think it's a great game. And yeah, I think an expansion for that could work.
I like how you just one-up me on that Omega Virus idea, that your idea is better than mine. Thanks for that.
Well, I mean, the one
and here's the thing, folks. It took me a couple of weeks to come up with that, and Luke thought of that on the fly like 2 minutes ago. That's why this guy is not going to be designing any board games anytime soon.
Well, I just started thinking about the way that new components could fit onto existing boards and how they would work with existing mechanics. And when you start thinking like that, there's a lot that could be done with existing games, like Curse of the Idol. There's a lot of issues there with the way those gears work, but you've got the holes in the board for something else to clip in that might work better than that.
Yeah, true. All right, good one. Thanks for showing me up, Luke. Appreciate that. All right, Bernardo, what is your board game expansion? I know you love this question.
Yeah. So to avoid being that guy that just says, I want another island for Tornado Rex, because you guys know I love that game. I've actually, so I'm working on a video of games that I've kind of changed and things like that. I've been working since they actually already come with toys, Lost Valley of the Dinosaurs. So I've actually gotten a few dinosaur pieces. I believe they're still in the box. I might show you guys later. But it is like Littlefoot. I'm sorry, I don't know the actual dinosaurs' names. I'm actually terrible. But Littlefoot, the long neck, different dinosaurs in the game that you can actually use to help you. Because in that game, the dinosaurs are only designed to affect you. So you have the swamp kind of creature who's in the swamp, can kill you immediately. You have the T-Rex who can bring you to a cave, also eat you up. And then you have the pterodactyl that can kind of help you, but if your opponent gets a hold of him, he can kind of pull you away from your coin because it can't pick you up with a coin. So I thought of the idea of like the long neck. Maybe if you can either draw a card or get close to one, you can use it to ride through the swamp, so you don't have to worry about the swamp monster, or just get you over like rivers and stuff like that, so you don't got to waste your turn or end your movement after you go through the river or when you get into the river. But I've been thinking of a few ways to use the dinosaurs. So far, that was the only one I had an ability for. I did have a few like the Triceratops and things like that. I just don't know how they would work in the game yet. But I have been working on it. I've kind of tested a little bit with kind of just me play drawing, not playing with a group. Just to kind of see how it would flow. But with the long necks, it's actually pretty cool. So I quite enjoy it.
Now, I did think of one for Tornado Rex. I called it the Valley. They're having to go through this valley. It's kind of like a little landscape bowl where he just spins and he can go anywhere as he's spinning through, and you're trying to roll and move as he's just constantly being spun and torn through that valley. You're trying to move your character through there in time. So kind of like Shark Attack, where he's constantly running. He's going to get you, but you don't know. Maybe you're safe where you're at, but that spinning top's just moving all over that valley.
Or Hit from the Pit kind of thing, where he's just going to get you.
Yeah, all you know is you've got to hurry. It's Tornado Rex Unhinged is what I think. All right, let's see. RetroGamer, your turn.
Okay, so I kind of wish my game that I wish they would have made, and I believe that there's already there might be an expansion. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but Dark World, was there an expansion for that? Does anybody know?
There were 2 expansions.
Okay, so there was. Were they even offered in the United States, or was that like a UK thing?
I think that was strictly UK, Luke.
Yes, Waddington's. You have the Dragon's Gate and the Village of Fear. I think you've got both of them, haven't you, Mel?
I have both of them. I got them back when no one was looking for them, thankfully.
Right. See, that's the thing with a game like Dark World, with a game like Hero Quest, is that you just come out with little expansions that just work with the board that you already have. I think that was a missed opportunity with the company. You know, whether they just made it for the UK, they probably could have made it for the US also. Yeah, just a missed opportunity. I wish I would have seen more of that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's always cool. And that's kind of unique back then that a game would have a expansion to it. It was unheard of back then. So Dark World doing that was kind of rare. I mean, leave it to Waddington to, you know, come up with great ideas, but obviously in Dark World it was selling better, I guess, in the UK than it was in the US, because I can't imagine if Dark World is, you know, flying off the shelves, they're not going, well, we have these expansions, let's go ahead and just send this to the US. Because the expansions for it look really cool.
They're big. They're big as well. They're really big expansions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They didn't skimp on either. I mean, Dragon's Gate is a smaller expansion as it goes, but it has the biggest piece. Has a huge dragon, for crying out loud. Red, angry. You know, I think when I did the review, I said, look, if Satan was a dragon, he'd look like this. He's got these horns and everything. He's like, you know.
Yeah. So when Hero Quest did their expansions, they were just like in small boxes.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, you know, the stuff can just fit in your original box, and that was just like, wow, this is a cool idea. You know, we get more for the game.
Fits in the original box. The dream.
I never knew the boxes were that little. I've never.
Yeah,
seen
they were a decent size, but definitely not as big as the core box.
How many did they make for Hero Quest?
I believe only 2.
Norm, is that right?
Anybody know?
They made
Hero
quite
Quest.
a lot of them.
Yeah, there's like 20.
They had about 8. Yeah, they had a lot.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
I've only heard of 2.
Well, they had Keller's Keep, Against the Ogre Horde, Return of the Witch Lord, and a few others, I think. And these things are so expensive.
Oh,
you know,
God,
yes. You can print out everything you need with a website now. I can't remember the name of it, but you can make your own expansions now. So
these were official expansions by Milton Bradley.
Yeah,
they were official.
Mad collection.
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane. Now, in the expansion, was it just like extra boards, or?
No, it was extra cards and pieces, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and missions, I believe, too. But they had like different like characters they would add, like an elfin warrior, or like an ogre lord or something like that. It wasn't like you were getting a whole ton of stuff, but it was just an add-on. You know, like an expansion, obviously.
Yeah, more scenarios, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. All right. So there you go. There's our answers there. All right, folks. So go ahead in the comments. Let us know what classic board game did you not like and why. Have you upgraded? Have you done any? Have you blinged out any of your board games before? And if so, which ones and what did you do? And then the third question you can answer is, what's a board game expansion you would have loved to have seen? Again, I want to thank my guests for coming on, guys. I appreciate your time. I know your time is, you know, very precious to you. And in some cases, some of you required me to pay you, which was really weird. But I'm kidding. Someone's like, wait, someone's getting paid? I want to get paid. But anyway, thanks again, guys, for being on here.
Sure thing, buddy.
welcome.
Thanks for having us.
It was a pleasure.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next time. Until then, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.